It is time to talk technology on a Wednesday. Mathew Dickerson, welcome back for 2020. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thanks, and welcome back to you as well, and all your listeners.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's good to be back in the studio, and good to be back in Dubbo. I've been overseas a little bit lately, where there's a lot less smoke than there was here, but it's good to see some clear air at the moment.
Yeah, it's quite lovely at the moment, and fingers crossed it will not see too much dust as the winds roll in this afternoon and tomorrow. Look, taking us back to the dim, dark stone ages of technology, there was a time there where every single mobile phone had a different proprietary charging cable. And anytime you changed phones, you'd end up with a drawer full of old cables that never seemed to plug into anything anymore. It's not that bad anymore, but it looks like we could be refining that even further. Could we end up with one single charging cable for nearly every device we own?
Well, that's where the European Union is certainly headed. They talk about 51,000 tonnes of waste each year just from old chargers. Now, having one single charger won't solve that completely, but it certainly will take a big chunk out of that. Because at the moment, typically you've got USB-C is the modern new way to go for most phones.
Yeah.
You've still got some micro USB out there, and obviously Apple have got their own proprietary lightning port, and Apple do things the way they want to do things. And that's the main sticking point at the moment. The European Union is really, well, Apple says they're picking on them because they're really the only ones that have got something that's left that's different. Now, Apple are arguing that it'll stop innovation, it'll stop companies being able to develop products that are better than other products if they've all got to use the same. But I think the European Union is at the point where they're saying, well, USB-C does pretty much everything people want it to do. It's got a transfer rate that's fast enough, it can charge quick enough. Surely we can just come up with a standard fare with that particular charger. And if they make the decision and make it law in Europe, then I think that Apple will say, well, we're not going to make one phone for Europe and another phone for the rest of the world. We'll just make one phone for everywhere, and that would mean that every phone that Apple makes going forward would have USB-C.
And I think that would be a relief because some laptops are using USB-C now, a lot of tablets are. I mean, I'm certainly right across it with my devices, and it'd just be a relief to have a single cable that could work throughout the house.
Well, I even got a new light for my bike the other day and opened it up, and sure enough, USB-C charger on there. So you're right, it is getting to that point where so many devices are there because it is a standard that seems to be good enough, but it's very, very difficult in technology to go, yep, this is the one, we've now got something good enough, because there'll be something else that'll come out tomorrow or next week or next month that will require something that USB-C doesn't provide. So I can see Apple's argument there, but at the same time, it does seem to be covering most devices, and it would be nice to be able to just have one cable that just plugs in anything that you have.
It'd be amazing. And as you pointed out, USB-C is doing everything that Apple's cable did. Obviously, when Apple's brought out their proprietary cable, it was great data transfer, it was great charging speeds, it was very different to what was available.
Yeah.
That USB technology is caught up. It'd be nice to have that U still standing for universal, wouldn't it?
It would, that's exactly right. And I think it's a good point you make, because I think the lightning port from memory was about 2012, maybe 2013 that the lightning port came out. So it's been, well, it was ahead of the curve then, and certainly it's been very much capable of doing everything that's required. But now USB-C's caught up, and there's devices out there doing everything the lightning port does. So look, I suspect the European Union will go this way. The European Union is really focused on trying to get to the point where they're addressing some issues around waste and around climate change, and I think this will be another step that they will do.
Matthew, changing topic here for a little bit. Do you remember Google Glass? Of course you remember Google Glass. The idea of a wearable headset that sort of could sit over your existing glasses or sit like a pair of glasses, provide you with a bit of augmented reality information around the world. What we saw recently at the start of the year, I think it was unveiled at CES, is the idea of a contact lens that could do the same thing.
They should call it the Steve Austin lens, the old $6 million man, because when I saw this story, that was the first thing I thought of. I thought of Steve Austin and the bionic eye, and it doesn't give you extra vision like a bionic eye, but what it does, it gives you information. So you can wear this like a contact lens, like you say, and it will give you information depending on what you want. So for example, you're out for a bike ride, it can tell you how fast you're going, your average speed, your heart rate, the sort of information you would have on a typical bike computer that cyclists might use. But then you're walking down the main streets of various places, and I know while we've been over in Europe, my kids love looking at reviews. So we're looking at a cafe to go to, and the kids are all on their phones looking at the review and what the star rating is of this particular cafe. So that's the sort of information that could project into your contact lens and actually see, as you look at the various cafes around you, star rating 4.5, star rating 3.5, that type of thing. So really adapting to what's around you and give that information. The thing that's the most amazing thing about it is the density of information on such a small piece of contact lens to give you that information. It's something that you can see. That's where I was amazed by the technology.
No, I think it's Mojo Vision who are having a look at these, a particular startup company. An old colleague of mine from the US, Scott Stein, actually got to play with one while he was at CES. Now, Scott's been doing this for a long time. He's a very jaded individual. He thought it was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it does sound fantastic. And of course, you can't go and buy one yet.
No.
Typically, things that are rolled out at CES are going to be sometimes on the market the next year or two and sometimes on the market never. But really, it's able to show off the technology that's available. I think that's the exciting part about this one.
Well, I think what's exciting about this too is that company is made up with some people who have been at some very big, very successful companies.
Yeah, that's right. And so the idea there is that if they've got that success elsewhere, then hopefully they can actually take this through to full production. But it sounds pretty exciting. And some people would say, look, the old world, we want to be able to see it the way it is. But just having that information available to you, you can turn it on and off as you please.
Look, it is the exact same information we could be getting on our phones right now. It's just about delivering it in a different way. Although I can imagine it wouldn't take long for police to catch up to whether you are reading text messages on your contact lenses when you're supposed to be driving.
That'd be a challenge. I mean, one of the things that they point out is that people are able to use their phone less with a device like this. And I'm actually finding a lot myself that I tend to use my watch over my phone in a lot of circumstances, because you can get the basic information you need from your watch. Sometimes you go, no, I just need to get my phone out, and then sometimes you need to go to the computer, depending on what it is. But for the basic sort of quick information you need, the watch is good enough, and that's where I think the contact lens will come in as well.
Well, not to go too groan-worthy pun, but I will be keeping an eye on what's happening with these contact lenses.
Oh, please. Yeah, all the holidays.
Leave me alone. Solar power. We've often seen little devices that allow you to recharge batteries simply with unfolding solar panels, and there's been some great technology around that. I'm hearing that Microsoft might want to bake in solar charging onto some of their laptops.
Yeah, and it actually made me think of the old calculators. You're a bit younger than I am, but the old calculators at school where you had the little tiny solar panels across the top, and the amount of light in the room was enough to actually power those. Now, a notebook, a Microsoft notebook, for example, takes a bit more power than those little panels on a calculator. But they've actually just patented, they've applied for a patent for solar panels built into the case of a Microsoft notebook. And obviously they haven't got a product released yet, but some people spend a lot of time looking at patents to get an idea of what's coming next.
Yeah.
And when they saw Microsoft launch this patent, they went, well, obviously that's where they're planning on going. Now, the real challenge here I see, or two challenges. One, getting enough surface area that you can actually charge the battery. I suspect it probably won't charge the battery, it will just stop it draining as quickly. So it won't necessarily, in my opinion, say, hey, stay charged forever, but instead of going flat in 8 hours, it might go flat in 15 hours, because it's putting a little bit of charge in but still draining quicker. But the other thing is, you're often using a notebook inside rather than outside. So they've got to be able to do it with not just sunlight, they've got to be able to do it with internal lighting, and that's the real challenge, because obviously you're getting nowhere near the same amount of power out of indoor lighting, especially now with a lot of LEDs. They're not putting out the same amount of power as, say, an old incandescent bulb.
But it is a very interesting one because, there's a lot of, well, not a lot, but there's a reasonable amount of surface area on the casing of a laptop that does nothing. Yeah. We don't have a display on it. We don't have anything on it. You might pop a couple of stickers on it. That's about all you do with it. It'd be interesting to see what we could do in terms of taking that and making it something, as you said, maybe not charging the laptop, but at least giving you that little extension on battery life. Yeah. Matthew, we will have to leave it there, unfortunately, but some incredible technology, and we'll keep doing this throughout the year, every fortnight. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Nick.
Could you do it? Would you want solar panels all over your laptop? I actually think I would like that very much, to be perfectly honest. I could imagine a world where that was. It'd be nice to not have to hide your laptop in a bag if you were trying to be in the cafe outside. Just a really quick look at what's happening with weather before I go. 32 degrees in Burke at the moment, 33 in Walgett. I'm seeing 32 out Cobar Way, 26 in Mudgee, and 29 if you're in Dubbo. That is ahead of a fairly hot day and a bit of wind around as well. We could see some raised dust this afternoon, so just keep an eye out for that. Thank you so much for your company today. Thank you to everyone who wanted to text or call in and chat about ugly vegetables. It was one of the weirder conversations we've ever had. I appreciate it. I'm back tomorrow morning at 6:35 a.m. It's news time.